Welcome back to our latest episode of Mindful Matters podcast. Welcome back. I'm one of your co-hosts, Oresztesz Murgacs. It is a pleasure to have you. And it is also a pleasure to be here with my amazing co-host, Richard Haggerty, coach of coaches, fantastic friend, great therapist, and an awesome teacher. How are you today, Richard?
I'm really good, Oresztesz, and I'm excited to be here, excited to dive in. And look, I'm loving the people who've come back to me and told me how much they've enjoyed our videos. So really, I really appreciate it. So please, if you have any thoughts, any topics you want us to talk about, comment below, put a comment below in the video, or add a question there, and we will work it out. I promise.
Absolutely. And it is a lot of fun always just to come together and talk about interesting things. And today we thought it would be interesting to talk about one of the things that apparently is what most people associate or most easily associate hypnosis with. It just seems to be the absolute best solution to this problem. Many people actually just end up associating hypnosis to that. Most people have had some family member or a friend that has stopped this problem using some kind of hypnotherapy. So it seems to be one of the first things that comes to mind. What do you think that might be?
I'm gonna guess that it's stopping smoking, Oresztesz.
Yes, absolutely. It seems to be one of those things that is something that is so unconscious that the funniest thing that most smokers, you ask why they smoke and they will say, I don't know. It makes no sense. Some of them will say, I enjoy it, but we'll talk about what that actually means most of the time. And smokers constantly get into these really weird contradictions. Just like, okay, yeah, I smoke and don't touch it and don't tell me what to do. If you ever want to give them advice. And then you ask them, if you could go back and never start, would you do it? Oh, absolutely. I wish I never started. I wish I never touched that thing. Would you recommend it to anybody that you love? Would you recommend it to your children? No. So, it seems to be something very unconsciously motivated, because consciousness, if you ask a person to give you any sort of a justification, they can't really come up with anything other than sorts of enjoyment and weird things they feel, but they cannot justify it. So apparently hypnosis is very efficient in fixing weird things that people do that they cannot really consciously get behind, but they seem to move them. So that's why hypnosis is a very popular and a very efficient tool to get rid of smoke.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, when I started off in practice, my mentor encouraged me, like 23 years ago, to focus at the beginning, at least, on stopping smoking as one of the areas, just because there were a lot of people out there who knew it, understood it, could relate to it. And so I had hundreds of people, who I saw for stopping smoking. And it's when people think about it, weight loss, stopping smoking, maybe anxiety or fears or phobias, but they really have that idea of hypnosis. And it can be really useful, like you say, because there are a lot of different ways. We have so many tools, all the different forms of hypnosis that are out there, that between that, with somebody who's at the point where they want to make a change, it's possible to do that. It's possible to do that quite quickly. And certainly to help them integrate that into their life. So it's a delight. It's a great thing to see, especially for people they've tried everything else. And so now this is their last ditch. No one comes to the hypnotist first, do they? Maybe one day they will. Maybe one day they will. But
Interestingly, well, I don't know. That at least that's what seems to happen with in my practice, that increasingly, at least well, I've been around in my area for around 15
Yep.
years. So at this point, many people actually do come to see me first because they heard that they can do this. But of course, most of the time, people will try. They will try with their willpower. They will, they will try to just resist it, try to cut down, try to do the nicotine gums and patches, because those are really, really readily available, and you see them just if you go to a pharmacy, and those seem to be much more easy to pick up and just think about it. And apparently they do work for a certain number of people, like I believe 6 to 8% of people who ever tried to quit have used these successfully, and that is nice. Now, I really love of course, because it talks so well about us. Hypnotists love to quote this study. You might have heard about this, but it's a really good study, because it's very interesting that one of the biggest studies ever made about quitting smoking, it's actually a meta study, which means is that it's not one research paper where they get a bunch of people and they test quitting smoking, and they have, I don't know, 30, 40 people. That's already a reasonable, sample size. 100 people, they get them together, and they test different methods, and they have their control groups, and they see what works, and then they draw their conclusions. This study pulled together, I'm forgetting the numbers. Richard, do you remember how many studies? I believe it's like 600 individual studies were reviewed with about 18,000 people. I'm pretty sure about the 600 studies. I'm not exactly sure about the 18,000 people that were involved in all of those studies. And what this meta study did was summarize all of their findings. So it's an insane amount of information together. And the funny thing is that hypnosis does come out on top. It is actually just behind one thing, and one thing only, which is your doctor telling you, okay, you are dead if you keep smoking. It's not your doctor telling you, hey, you should really quit smoking. It's not good for you. That's almost at the bottom. That is actually one of the least effective things. No, I'm talking about the one thing that tops hypnosis is when you are hospitalized because you are next to dead, or you've had one of the near-death experiences and you survive, and then your doctor tells you if you continue smoking, then you will definitely die. That's the one thing that has better quitting rates than hypnosis. But interestingly, anything else below that, the next thing is hypnosis. So way over 3 times, 4 times as much efficient as willpower. Nicotine patches are actually worse than just willpower. Doctor's advice is it's unfortunately terrible. Which to me, what it tells me is that it really has to be your own desire to want to stop. Now, a really interesting thing about your own desire is, how do I say this? The concept is that you have to understand that it's possible. So one of the things that will help you a lot in getting into this ordeal of quitting smoking is to understand that it's possible. Because if you don't believe, if you don't believe in yourself, if you keep referring in your mind to past experiences where it didn't work, where you were struggling through quitting with willpower, and it was a torture because you didn't take care of all the things that hypnosis takes care of, then your own desire is not even 100% there. So then somebody else comes in and tells you that you need to stop this thing that you are also aware that is not helping you. Then that's when it becomes a little bit more difficult. Richard, what do you think about this concept of the personal desire, their own willingness to
Agreed.
want to quit?
I'm nodding along. I'm nodding along. Look, I haven't worked with lots of people and seen people go through that process. The number one thing I do, and I help everyone with this, when I get a referral, I'll say, "Oh, it's great to speak to you today. Why are you totally committed to giving up smoking right now? You know, what prompted you to pick up the phone today?" All right. And as long as there's a strong reason and emotion that's there, you've got a strong reason, a personal reason, a reason that you believe in. Could be that the doctors said you got, a month to live if you don't quit. Could possibly be that. But as long as you've internalized a reason for yourself, then you're going to, at that point, you're really you're setting a trajectory for yourself where your mind is like, okay, I'm going to find the approach now that's going to work for me. And that's why hypnosis can be super, super powerful. You see, back when I first started 23 years ago, I didn't realize that. And there were people who had lukewarm or no real personal reason. And they were just like wanted somebody else to do that for them. And that didn't tend to work out quite so well. But when somebody tells me, like, here's someone I know is going to quit smoking. They phone me up and they say, "Hi, you know what? I've got 2 kids and they're getting a little bit bigger now. And I took them down the park the other day and I was running around in the park. And I just couldn't keep up with them because I was so out of breath. And when I was younger, I used to be really fit and strong. And now I'm smoking. Enough is enough. I want to get out there with my kids. I want to have time with them. I don't want to be able to keep up with them. I want to quit this. Enough is enough." When I speak to somebody who's at that point, I know that they are going to have a fantastic experience with hypnosis. They can have a fantastic experience going through. They will quit. They will stop. They will stay. They will stay a non-smoker. And I think that is, as you say, Oresztesz, that's really got to be the key thing. And actually, when I think about it, for most of the things, if I think about my own life, if I think about the clients who I coach and all the people I've helped over the years, there is a certain point where there's a very clear decision that is made, and it's usually along the lines of enough is enough. This is something I really want to have happen, and it can take a little while to get to that point. And someone may need coaching. They may want to do some other stuff, or they may just want to have a good, proper chat with a professional, for instance, in our field in there, and we can help you get to that point or tell you what you will need to do to get to that point. But that is the point at which change really, really becomes much, much easier, much faster, and where you'll get the most out of hypnosis.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes, yes. And the wonderful thing about using hypnosis for this kind of change is that once you know that this is what you want for your life, you don't have to know how, because there is an interesting thing. You don't need to know how you are going to achieve that change, but you have to want it. So many people mistake the idea that sometimes a person can be afraid of making a change because they feel they might fail. They feel that they're just going to feel bad about themselves if they fall back. What if it doesn't work? How will I get through it? Will I be able to get through the withdrawal symptoms that are really, really next to nothing with hypnosis? So basically, they get to a point where they start to doubt their own desire of wanting to quit. Don't. With hypnosis, if you have that desire for yourself, then you will be able to quit easily. The thing is, you have to want it for yourself, and that's not a huge deal. It's just you have to want to enjoy, life that is less stressed. Interestingly, so many people think that they are making their life less stressed with cigarettes, but it actually creates more stress in their lives. That is just such a silly notion. If you want to be healthier, if you want to have a little bit more money, in fact, not so much little bit, a regular smoker in about 20 years smokes away the rough equivalent of a smaller house, is what they end up throwing in the garbage, destroying their health, and feel better about yourself. If you want these things for yourself, then absolutely you want to stop smoking. Now, the other part is your hypnotist's job to make sure that it's as easy as possible. It is taken out of unconsciousness and helping you be free. And then you just look at the cigarette afterwards as a non-smoker looks at cigarettes. I used to smoke. I smoked for, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7 years. Most of high school, pretty much all of university. That's about 8 years. So, today I look at a cigarette and it's just like, okay, it's here. No connection whatsoever. That is the kind of connection that you can have afterwards to yourself, that you just know, hey, I don't care for this. The interesting thing is you don't also have to hate cigarettes and be a hypocrite and be, just, these are the worst things, and going off on people that are still smokers. That doesn't happen. You just become free. You realize, and this is one of my favorite parts. This is one of my favorite words that our smoker discovers throughout the therapy is, it has been you all along. When they smoke and they think that it relaxes them, smoking doesn't relax you. Any relaxation you created, it's been you all along. If this is what lets you get out of boredom, cigarettes are doing that one repeatable thing over and over is the most boring thing that you could ever do. If you were put in an 8-hour job where all you would be doing is this, breathe in, put down, breathe in, put it down. How many hours would you be able to take from a job like that? That was your job. That would be mind-numbing after a few hours. So it has nothing to do with something that is eliminating boredom. No. Anything that you do for yourself, be it take a pause, have a conversation with someone you love, go out and just interrupt your day for a minute and go into this unconscious way of thinking. All of those things, it has been you all along.
It's a nice thought, that, because the logic of that is that if it's been you who generates the relaxation, then you can carry on generating that without the need for anything external. And that's really the beauty, because like you say, a lot of people might try gums or patches or Zyban or these kind of other things. But what you can do with smoking is you can go and see a hypnotist and we can help you to not feel the cravings. So you don't have to rely just on willpower. So you don't feel, or you don't feel anxious about quitting, or you don't feel anxious or moments of stress, like you mentioned, Oresztesz, during the day. We can help you absolutely manage that. We can help you manage any kind of cravings or even any worry about, for instance, something like that you might put on weight. We can absolutely, build that into your session as well. And we can make it automatic so that the solution becomes as permanent as the problem used to be. And, you know, this is really lovely. And if you want to take it a step further, think of all the energy that you had to expend. Like, I think with stopping smoking, it's one of the easiest things because literally you just stop doing it and you've won. Like, you don't need to go down the gym to try and build up muscle. Literally, you just stop. You stop going down the shop. You stop buying all those things, like you say, trying to find time and go out and spend time going outside doing things. And you can still socialize. But there's so much energy that is held within that habit. Once that frees up, I have some people who just want to carry on, and they're amazed. Look, if I can do this in my life, what else can I do? And it becomes a real powerful source. I was amazed actually because I worked with people for confidence to improve their confidence over the years, but the confidence that people had from stopping smoking was just insane. I mean, their day-to-day life, they've just become more and more confident, more and more happier naturally as a result of giving that behind, especially when they got to that point, like we said, Oresztesz, where there's a deep personal connection, where they kind of feel like, okay, this has become like a prison for me or a shackle for me. It's not supporting me. It's like the fact that I'm having to do this habit means that I'm trapped in it and I want to be free. And that's a beautiful gift because really you're just giving that freedom back to yourself, and we'll teach you, we help you learn that skill, the way to navigate your own mind and your own thoughts and your own feelings so that you can do that for yourself. And it's just a lovely, lovely experience to have. And I guess you're like me in that sense, Oresztesz. We love hypnosis and we use it ourselves because it's so wonderful to make life easier.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it is actually one of my bigger personal satisfactions, helping someone get away from cigarettes. It's I actually, the last time that I saw my actual grandfather, I almost had four grandfathers. my grandma remarried, and my other grandma also ended up with someone after his first husband died, and I only knew one of them, and I only saw that person 3 times, and I remember 2 of those, and one of them was the last one that I ever saw him. He was hospitalized, looking like a shadow of himself, just because of lung cancer. He was in the hospital, and it actually kind of blew my mind, even though I was very young. It was just this thing that my mind was refusing to understand, that he is about to die because of cigarettes, and the rest of the rest of his family that visited him, they smuggled the cigarettes, the filterless cigarettes that he used to smoke his whole life. He would cut them in half, and that's how he would smoke them, half filterless, awful cigarettes. And to think that this person that has been so strong, he was a miner. He was a very powerful, very well prepared, knowledgeable, awesome person. And he would be a slave to that point that it destroyed his life. And he would just continue to do this completely insane thing during his last days of his life. So that was something that I was very young, but I just could not understand how that was possible. And I believe I owe him that much, that, this refusal kind of led me down and exploring what the power of the mind is and what can be done, and especially getting rid of cigarettes. It is just so satisfying. And I mentioned a quick thing that I want to quickly return to, which is many smokers think that smoking relaxes them. And that is just that's one of the biggest lies. Smoking does not relax anybody. If you add smoking to any life, it's just going to create more stress, just as you mentioned, Richard. The energy that it takes, the worrying, if I have the cigarettes, where did I put them? Do I have enough? Where am I going to buy them if I'm somewhere, if I'm traveling, where can I smoke? If I'm going out, where can I light up? What are the people gonna think? Am I allowed to smoke in here? Do I have to, be the person that walks out and goes away because I'm such an addict that I cannot go through, a social gathering, that I need to be outside, or I light up somewhere where it pisses people off? It's just the amount of energy just spent on carrying the habit on that is just very silly. Also, if you have any concerns, I mean, if you have two people, if you have one of them that's not a smoker, the other one is, and one of them, they both can have problems with their health. They both can have worries about their health. They both can have problems that come up. Add smoking on top of it. It's more. If you have money issues, you need to take care of your family, you have, you're not going to the bathroom and come out with gold nuggets, then you must have, you need to take care of your finances. The same amount of stress, except the smoker will have just this much on a daily basis. Of course, over the years, it's just going to add up. If you have, personal issues like self-esteem, we all want to be able to respect and like ourselves. Okay, everybody can have, issues with that due to their past, due to whatever issues that have come up in their lives. Everybody can have stress about that. And the smoker will have an extra bit because they are an addict. They are just worse off in every single statistic that you can think of. Your loved ones, we all like to have our loved ones. Well, both can have problems. You fight with them sometimes. You have, okay, fantastic. The smoker will fight more because anybody that loves you will want you to not have to not lose you, or will tell you that they don't want you to slowly kill yourself. So energy level, again, as you mentioned, in anything, like you can have the same amount of stress as anybody else, but you will have more stress because you're a smoker. And of course, if smoking was relaxing, you would see smokers as relaxed people. And that just has not been my experience, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the thing, and the flip side of it is this: imagine that you quit it. Imagine that you can quit, and it could be changing anything. So for people who are listening who don't smoke, but if there's something you want to change, there's a really nice thing you can do, which is just to imagine that you have made that change and sort of consider how good you're feeling inside, how proud of yourself you are, how free you are, how much easier it is to breathe, just that sense of overwhelming achievement, all that creativity and fun that's there, all that freedom inside, the freedom to do more things, to not carry the old story, the old baggage. And it really starts with getting that kind of vision. And once you have a direction like that to go in, exactly like you say, Oresztesz, you don't exactly know, you don't need to know how to get there. And that's the beautiful thing with hypnosis. It will help you to get there automatically and will tailor things for you. But once you start to, it's really worthwhile taking some time to feel really good, imagining what life's like when you've made the change that you want. It's very easy to get bogged down in past failures or difficulties and so forth. But once you start to, and it may just be that reflecting on that starts to increase your willpower and your desire to change, or it may be that you've made that desire, I really want to change, enough is enough. It's great. So when you're not smoking, how are you being? It's different. You know, what does it look like? What does it feel like? How proud of yourself are you knowing that you've made this change? And 6 months down the line and a year down the line, how good does it feel for that to be a natural, normal part of your life? Because let me tell you, like with you, Oresztesz, I used to smoke as well for all the way through school, and then I quit when I was at university. But you know, the thing is, there's no emotion connected to smoking now. I don't think about it. I don't try not to do it. I don't think, you know, it's just, it's neutral, unimportant, inconsequential, and I'm free in that regard. And that's a beautiful, beautiful place to be, because whether it's smoking, whether it's something else, whether it's any particular problem that you have, there is a way through it. And hypnosis and coaching can be very, very powerful, or coaching the unconscious mind with hypnosis can be a very powerful way for you to be free. And it's really worth taking a moment just to consider what it's like when you're free, like this.
Absolutely. And I just want to appreciate my unconscious. It came up with a little wordplay, as you mentioned, being able to be neutral with cigarettes. That is just so wonderful. Instead of carrying around the old troll that are the cigarettes.
I love it.
That really
That is
it is a lot like just, you know, that you have stapled a bully to your back that is just constantly badgering you when you're not feeding it. And the best you can get is a relief for a moment when you smoke one, when you feed it. When you feed it with your money, your energy, your health, and then it doesn't bother you that much. So just having that stress constantly, oh, hypnosis is such a powerful tool for that. You definitely want to, you get to recover your own self that wants to be healthy, that wants to feel good, that wants the energy, that wants the money, that wants the freedom. Plus, you get to reconquer what you projected onto cigarettes. Your ability to relax. You will be able to relax and better. You will be able to feel good about yourself. So it's really your whole self just feeling much better. And I really hope you give yourself that opportunity. And if this episode is for you, I hope you inspire yourself to reach out to us, or reach out to any good hypnotist that you research and you know that have some experience. They know what they are doing. They are well prepared, not just, you know, taking a weekend course. They really know what they're doing, and they have some good track record of helping smokers. Do this for yourself. Do this for your family. Do this for your energy. Do this for your freedom. You don't have to struggle with quitting smoking. It can be easy and long-lasting for the rest of your life with hypnosis. So I hope you end up inspired, and thank you for listening all the way to the end. We both are passionate about this. We enjoy helping others be free. And you can find me at lessanxietytoday.com. You can find more information. You can check out the other videos on this channel. Make sure you click like and subscribe, and you can share this. I hope it is something that can be easy to listen to and inspiring at the same time. Richard, any closing words? You can find Richard where?
Oh, well, you can find me on Twitter, Richard Haggerty. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. Or if you look in the comments of this video as well, you'll find out how to get in contact with me on my daily email list. So if you like this and you want to get a little email each day inspiring you with some different aspects of something practical that you can use straight away, then pop your email in, and we can be in touch that way. So thank you so much.
Take care, everyone. See you next time.